So check this out. We got our new logo, and we would just pin this on the bulletin board at Starbucks. Now, who works at Starbucks? Usually they're polite young people who need health care and made it through the Starbucks recruiting process. So they have some level of complexity and intelligence, right? So look at the little subtitle, and I purposely made it really, really, really small because people are going to look at this and go, what the fuck is that? Okay, first of all, I completely stole the idea for the logo from Starbucks. Can you see the resemblance to the mermaid? Okay, so Bruno AI wants interns. And this is just what you think, like semi-compensated people who work for you. This is how crypto systems work. Ethereum doesn't have but maybe 40 people on the payroll, and the other 400,000 people building things with Ethereum are paid by some outside source. But look at the student loan idea. We'll come back to that. Now, listen to this, Linda. Don't go away. This is the punchline. Because you've never heard of ChainOpera before, and you've never heard proof of intelligence. Okay? Unlike traditional blockchain consensus mechanisms such as proof of work or proof of stake, which I just described as how blockchain, Bitcoin, and Ethereum work, ChainOpera introduces proof of intelligence. Every meaningful AI interaction, an inference request, a high-quality community prompt, or a verified real-world asset tokenization query is recorded on the AI native blockchain and rewarded accordingly. Quiet out there. The platform attracts keys and gas fees entirely. The platform abstracts keys and gas fees entirely, allowing non-technical Substack readers, our followers, to engage with the proof of intelligence through simple natural language and get paid for it. If this was an Ethereum project, we would say they're getting paid in ETH. So ChainOpera has its own coin, its own true utility token for just doing that. So you don't even have to put the blocks together. You just have to get in the system and say, how do we raise, just something silly, how do we raise sheep in downtown Chicago? I'm just trying to think of something really crazy. How do we put solar panels on barns? How do we, I always say, what are we going to do with all these little liberal arts colleges, which are all going to go in the market? They're all going to be bought up by private equity or something like that. And this is your answer to problems like private equity and Palantir and the Magnificent Seven taking over the world. This is how it's going to work. This is like our Francisca thing. If you've heard me talk about that before, that's the little throwing tomahawk axe that the Frankish people are named after and the nation of France is named after. Proof of intelligence, people. You've heard it here first. You've never heard this anywhere else. Literally to build, and not just build, but usually it's a lamb gets separated from the ewe, and they do Marco Polo for about 4 minutes until they find each other, and it's Simon and Garfunkel song after that. You got that, didn't you? The mother and child reunion, huh? All right, so here's the the end of this thing. Again, this is $9.95. If you subscribe, you can go look at this thing and stare at it all weekend and try to understand it, because it's the most interesting thing going on in blockchain right now. It is. So the addendum on here is the details of a $25 million raise and how that works and how we can go about that. And right over here on the other side of the iPad, I'll just flash this for you, and then I'll post it this weekend. Hot off the press yesterday afternoon, right there. The attorney's name is Ryan Valenza, just like it sounds. Austin-based attorney, corporate law and securities law. Really? The message cannot be displayed because there's a problem already occurred. Well, frankly, engagement letters aren't really that exciting. As the partners roll in at 10,000 each, they will deploy a master agent for each state. Now, of course, we're not going to get a perfect, 2 people from each state, but we'll sort it out. And I intend to execute that next week to do a $25 million raise. Now, what's unique about a Reg A Plus offering? See if you can put this all together in your head, everything I just said here for the last 45 minutes or so. There's all this new tech, right? When all these different people can interact with each other. With me? Blockchain AI and proof of intelligence and all this shit. So you're saying like we could all the structures, the regulatory and financial underwriting and legal structures could all be like embedded in that. Yes. In fact, it's quite easy. And you're going to recruit young people, underemployed people that may or may not work at Starbucks or walking in and out of the bathroom at Starbucks and look up at the billboard because they're looking for something to do and see that weird Bruno head. Yeah. And if they help operate this system, they get paid this little coin called CoinOpera AI. It's literally the symbol is COAI. Yeah. And beyond that, think of this. Let's just leave with this. Imagine having all these 26-year-olds that have a degree but they're working at Applebee's and they have a degree in biology and they don't really know what to do next. They don't really want to take. Imagine if we went to them and said, hey, we have an idea. Why don't you help run our system? You get paid this coin, this COAI thing. Who knows? Maybe it'll be like ETH one day and have a market cap of, the market cap's real small right now. But what if, as things would progress and we'd start to do transactions, let's say in the area code that you're working in? Of course, I have this thing about area codes because it's a perfect way to break up the map. There's 2 million people in each area code. And once a fund would, say, I don't know, deploy $500,000 in your area code, we'll start paying your student loans. What? Yeah. The average student loan's about $400 a month. So you would get intelligent, educated, entrepreneurial young people. Young people can just go through change. Like you and I are going to have to spend the next 3 months thinking to ourselves, proof of intelligence. What does that mean? Young people just get it in 3 minutes, right? We'll pay your student loans. In other words, we don't really have a full-time job for you. You're not going to get corporate costume and go into a building in downtown Des Moines with it that says Bruno on it. Okay. That's not really how these systems operate. But when you come home after the gym on Thursday nights, you flip open your iPad or your M5 laptop and you can help run the system. And we'll make your student loan payments. There's $2 trillion in student loans. The boomers, well, shut up, Jim. Nobody wants to hear any content anymore. But I just think this student loan thing is so pervasive in our economy. It's almost like the reason I go on about all these negative things that appear to be negative, like things like student loans, price of beef, housing, because I see all those problems as requiring a solution. The current system doesn't produce those solutions, and that's what we need to do. Let's just finish with a little bit more Shostakovich, shall we? It's all there, people. but it's the people. It's the tech's there, the legal's there, the money's there, everything's there, people. It's the people we need. We need 5,000 people. I used to have 125,000 followers on TikTok, competing with boobs and cats. This is it. It's here. I did it for you. We'll use the subscribers to build the agents. We'll use the partners to build the master agents. We'll use associates. That's a thing you pay into for about $1,000. And we'll train you in all these things. And then potentially, if you want to, train you to become an investment advisor. Because while we're building this big empire, nobody knows what to do with their 401ks and IRAs right now. Go look at the headlines on Zero Hedge. Everybody's sitting around going, is the 10-year bond going to go to 5%? Yeah, it's going to go to 5%. It's going to go to 10%. It's going to go to 15% over my lifetime. Nobody in finance knows how this works. Nobody in finance. The plan from the Trump administration right now with $150 oil is to lower short-term interest rates. In other words, the whole thing we've lived through for our whole lives, since the dot-com bubble or 9/11 or whatever, we had that little blip of, it wasn't little, but the blast of inflation coming out of COVID. Nobody my age has ever seen sustained upward interest rates. And the interest rate cycle is 60 years long from either peak to peak. Got to go load fertilizer. Or it's 30 years peak to trough. In other words, coming out of COVID, this whole thing just began. And go take a look and just stare at it. You'll know more than 99% of financial advisors. Go look at the thing that I posted yesterday of the 30-year bond that was issued in August of 2020. It's down 52%. The credit of the United States of America is down 50. The long credit of the United States of America is down 50% in the last 5 years. It's time to build some new systems. Have a nice weekend.